It's crazy how during some events, I'm like, hey, you have permission to be charismatic. And finally you're like, I do? Master Julien? Yes, young Padawan, go, fly. And suddenly you'll see people completely change. Just with that permission. What's blocking you? And you don't want to depend on anyone else's permission, by the way. That's also a trap when it comes to self-help, right? A lot of people, they're like very victim-y. It's like, I just can't, it's too hard. And then it's like they have this oppressor keeping them down, which is you. And then you come into self-help, and instead of realizing that the power is within you, what do? You look for a hero. Which guru will fight the oppressor for me? Julien Guru, fight the oppressor. Give me permission and beat my oppressor. No, because then you're still a victim. The only difference is instead of giving your power away to an oppressor, you might give your power away to someone who encourages you. But you're still giving your power away. True self-help is realizing no one's going to save you. You have the power. No guru is going to save you. They can show you the way, cut your learning curve, help you realize this, but ultimately it comes from within. You got this. And then you also realize this whole oppressor is something you made up. It can be helpful to view it as worm tongue. Anyone watch Lord of the Rings? What's the recent show called? The Rings of Power? Pre that. When Lord of the Rings was at its peak. It was movie number 2 called The Two Towers. And in that movie, there's a scene where there's a king. And they meet this king, and he's sitting on a throne, and he's old and rotten away. And next to him, there's this character called Wormtongue, his advisor, whispering into the king's ear. And he's been whispering into his ear for all these years, poisoning the king's mind, basically being the oppressor, right? Telling him, you're not good enough. Why would they listen to you? Do you remember what happened when you were a child? Do you remember in classroom, in school, when they started talking down on you, trying to activate their winner effect? I do remember that. You suck. And the heroes arrive, walk in, and they see this king rotting away. They're like, what is this? And it builds up to a scene where they eventually kick Wormtongue out, right? They're like, be gone. And as soon as Wormtongue is kicked out, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the king is the one that ultimately kicks him out. So you have to do it. No one else will do it for you. The king in the movie stands up, and suddenly all the gray hair, the wrinkles, the spider webs, just this deadness inside starts fading away, and you see life coming back into him. That's what you must all do. When I see all of you here, I see worse and less worse kings or queens or whatever, but I see this Wormtongue hold. You got to kick him out of the castle. You do this through letting go, and when you do, life comes back. Not just in terms of, like we said, being loud and unstifled, but even in terms of just presence, in terms of energy, in terms of this thing that you can just feel with. It's like that person is there, right? Like if you look around you, take a moment, look at the people around you. How present are they right now? Right? You'll see some like, I guess so, don't look at me. Well, probably some people are looking down, like don't even look into my soul. But say you can hold eye contact. It's like, okay, are you here? Are you just staring? Or are you really here? And it's not black or white. You'll see, again, of course you're here. You're all, I hope, you're present enough. But are you as present as you could be? Or is part of you yapping about inside? What are they thinking about staring at me? Do I look present? Would they give me a good presence rating? No, then you're spending energy inside. You're not fully here. When you hear this term flow state, there's an example of you truly being here. We sense this. The same as if you hang out next to someone who feels very stressed, you'll just kind of sense that stressed energy. They don't have to say anything. You hang out next to someone who's angry, you're going to sense it. Sad, same thing. Same with this life force and presence. You just sense, wow, that person's just emanating this energy. And they wouldn't have to say anything. They could just be standing there and just like, something about him. Can't really put it into words. Something. It's because we let go of Wormtongue, that inner resistance. Now, last thing with Wormtongue here, this will come down to one, internally, placing a firm boundary with yourself and learning how to put your foot down. So what does this mean? If you engage and talk to and listen to worm tongue, which is part of the process, by the way, you got to learn what's running you. How are you going to learn about what's running you? By talking to what's running you. You want to learn about the grasp that worm tongue has on you? You have to get to know worm tongue. People don't like this, especially in the whole positive thinking movement. They're like, well, that's thinking negative thoughts. Hey, it's going on whether you're aware of it or not. You got to bring your awareness to something to let go of it, right? If I'm punching myself in the stomach, say hypothetically, this is just my way of being. I grew up in a family where everyone punched themselves in the stomach. I thought it was normal. It's a habit. I cannot drop it. And I come up, I'm like, everyone, I don't feel too good. What are you going to be like? Do you have any tips, maybe some like tips, tricks to feel better here? Be like, stop punching yourself in the stomach, right? But for me to stop punching myself in the stomach, what do I got to do? Acknowledge that I'm punching myself in the stomach. Oh, but that's negative. I don't want to acknowledge that. Positive thinking. I'm not punching myself. I'm not punching myself. Is that going to work? No, because you're punching yourself anyway. Same with negative thoughts. Think positive thoughts. Think positive thoughts. Hey, in the background, out of your awareness, in your subconscious, those negative thoughts are active. This is why the traditional approach to positive thinking, or the movie The Secret, which, by the way, law of attraction, positive thinking, in my experience and what I've seen and experienced, works. It's a thing. The problem is people only address conscious thoughts, not what's going on beneath the surface. That's why everyone at those conventions of positive thinking, law of attraction, LOA are all broke. One day, the Ferrari, the Ferrari, the Ferrari, the Ferrari. Doesn't matter what you do consciously, unconsciously, unless you address that, nothing's going to change. One day, I'll feel good. And unless I acknowledge, can't do anything. So you got to acknowledge what's going on. Instead of running away from that little worm tongue compensating, worm tongue, tell me all the details. What's going on? How do you work? How do you think? Why are you holding me back? Get to know it. Dive into that inner darkness instead of running away from it. Turn around, head first into the eye of the storm, and take note. Now, don't stay there. Right? It's not about like, let's go in. No, this is it now. It's now that you're aware of it, you can then do something about it. You can now let go of it. So listen to worm tongue. Beyond that, learn how to put your foot down. Meaning, if you engage with worm tongue a little too long, or if you're someone who's really stuck in grief or victimhood, it's very appealing to just kind of bask in it. It's your guilty pleasure. It's let me think about my problems, right? You might feel sorry for yourself. You might go home after work, home after this event. You lie in your little bed with your soupy warm ice cream and you just cry yourself to sleep and think about your problems. I'll see clients like this where I'm like, so what's going on with you? And they could just go on this rant. And there's this that happened, and when I was 5, this, and when I was 7, this, and this, and this. All accurate, but you get a sense it's their comfort zone. Put your foot down. Meaning there's a point where you listen to worm tongue, you take note, and there's a point where you put your foot down and say, fuck you, worm tongue. Now we tend to think, oh, this is self-attack, that's self-hate. No, this is a boundary of self-love. A boundary on that inner abuser, that inner oppressor. Enough. Okay, I hired this coach. This is early 2015 here in LA through a recommendation of a friend. It was this guy who was 80-something years old. I didn't really look into the details because it was recommended through a friend and I trusted him, but he was in the self-help world, and my friend's like, hey, do a coaching session or two with this person, you might learn something. And I only did 2, and it was over the phone. And the guy was very old, he forgot a lot, but one thing he told me is like, so tell me about this, tell me about this. And I started talking about some problems I had. And he's like, okay, well, let's do this exercise. And we did an exercise. Like, is it gone now? Now, none of the exercises really worked. But the biggest piece I got from him is every time we do an exercise, like, is it still there? I'm like, yep. We do another exercise. Is it still there? I'm like, yep, because it didn't work. But eventually he told me at some point, he's like, look, Julien, we've done 3 exercises right now. There's a point where you just got to put your foot down. If you keep looking for a problem, you're always going to find one. Good reframe on his end, but also a very useful tool, and that kind of blew my mind. I'm like, you're right. Like if I keep looking, if you focus your RAS, your selective focus, and all these little problems going on, you're forever going to find them. Even when you feel amazing. Like if we talk about flow state. Say you were to catch yourself in this moment of flow state, you feel great, and you pause, and you ask yourself, is there maybe a little part where I don't feel amazing? Oh, there's a little tenseness here. you're going to find it. And there's somewhere you're like, look, enough's enough. Put your foot down. No. And that's what you got to do with worm tongue. No. You suck. Foot down. No. And that creates some space. So awareness, but don't get sucked in. Foot down. Create space. And then learn how to let go of it. And you are free. And just like in the Two Towers, all that gray hair, the wrinkles will fade away. And you will shine again and come back into your own. There will be that light in the pupil, that presence, that unstifledness. Doesn't mean you're going to be like this all the time, but if you chose to, you could. And that, you could say, childlike feeling that we're after is back. Like me here, this is how I used to feel when I was pre-stifled. You could say pre-constipated. It's fun, I'm loud, you're joking around. Before all the social conditioning, before trauma. Get back in touch with that. Get back in touch with what it's like to be your version of what we call a social natural. I'm sure you've all heard that term. You have friends like this. Wherever they go, they're just always in a good mood due to perhaps a certain conditioning. Why are you not a social natural? Learn how to let go. It gets you that social natural phase. Of course, when it comes to charisma, social skills, there's then things you can focus on and perfect and polish in the expression of it. But 80% of the way is letting go. Let go, you're who you truly are. And by emanating that authenticity, that unstifledness, it rubs off on people. It's pre-verbal. And this is very important too. We are pre-verbal beings. You learn through feeling first. And we have a very subtle radar for this. And if you sense people just like your social natural friends, when they're around you, it gives you a little bit of permission to tap into that as well. You're like, oh, I can't wait till they're coming to dinner too. Oh, that'll be fun. It'll give me permission to have more fun. And it's very attractive. It's very magnetic. So now that you know why it's so important to put your foot down on that inner worm tongue, that inner critic, the next step to make this permanent is to learn how to let go of it. And for that, click on this video here, which will teach you the 3 practical steps when it comes to letting go. And if you'd like to see live coaching demonstrations about this, then click on this video here. You know what to do. Until next time.